Hi everyone. So I did a training yesterday at noon about the weaknesses or areas that need to be strengthened if a child has reading difficulties and so forth. So what I wanted to talk about today, just pop on real quick. I know it's Friday, and we sometimes are just like happy to get home and so forth. So I want to keep this really short. But I wanted to just mention very briefly, if you did miss the training, why you want to check it out. It is going to be posted for another 48 hours. And that is that basically kids with reading struggles, learning difficulties in general, to, just preface that, but kids with reading struggles all had one thing in common. That's what the study showed. And that is that they have brain blocks, to kind of put it in really simple terms, and meaning weak connections or areas of the brain that need to be strengthened, that in kids who are fluent readers or stronger readers didn't have these weaknesses. So there is a way to overcome this, to strengthen these weak connections and so forth. And whenever you've been at this for a long time, some of the parents I work with, it's a new diagnosis or even just a concern and they're not interested in a diagnosis. But when you've been at this for a long time, it can really start to wear on you and feel like there's no other way. This is, your life now. This is your child's life. You just need to work with it and so forth. And totally, there is truth and validity to that. But I encourage you to consider imagining, what life could be like if you didn't, and your child didn't have to deal with this on a day-to-day basis. Imagine, instead of them coming home from school and hating school or not wanting to go to school, they come home from school and they're really excited to tell you what happened at school that day. Or parent-teacher interviews, right? That can actually be really traumatic for a lot of parents. Maybe that's happened to you. Let me know in the comments below, where it's traumatic just because you have a kid who comes, you have a kid who's just not enjoying school, and then teachers telling you things that, feel really negative, and they're always talking about things that your child needs to improve upon. And imagine instead you go to parent-teacher interviews and they're telling you amazing things about your kid, which actually just happened with a client not that long ago before school ended and so forth. And, just like even the evenings, right? All of those things, you don't even realize how all of these layers, all of these things are affecting you on a day-to-day basis and wearing on you and draining your energy. And that's exactly what my hope is for you, is that instead of homework battles that don't have to happen, if we get on top of this and reading or homework can get done in 15, 20, 30 minutes instead of hours later, with all of these frustrations and that tension that can happen in parent-child relationships when there is difficulties and so forth. So basically, when you're in survival mode, it can be really hard to almost see another way out, and to almost, see further ahead or other options or perspectives. And if you're kind of just following the conventional path, it can really feel like you've exhausted all of your options when you haven't. So that's why I did want to just hop on, talk about, I mentioned it earlier this week in a post about a study by Dr. Robert Malilo, and how all of the kids had what are called retained primitive reflexes. So basically brain blocks, who had learning and behavioral difficulties, dyslexia, all of that type of stuff. And we can strengthen those areas, which is we're not looking at trying to fix your child. We're not trying to change them, but just working on helping them and so forth. And this basically moves you out of having to rely permanently on compensations and instead move towards corrective therapies, which means you don't have to do them forever. Once that pathway is created, once we turn that dirt road pathway into a super highway, we don't have to keep doing these exercises either. It's there and it lasts and so forth. So if you haven't checked out my training, it will be up for another 48 hours in my Facebook group, Building Better Brains. Check that out. If you're watching this on Instagram, click the link in the bio to access my Facebook group and watch that. Let me know if you have any questions, things don't make sense, and do reach out. If you want to know more about my program, The Full Potential Formula, book a free clarity call to see if the program is right for you, or how it could help your child and so forth. So thanks for watching, everyone. Have a fantastic Friday and an even better weekend, and I will see you on the other side next week. Bye.